Calaroga Shark Media.
From New York, where Trump is guilty, this is Ballot.
I guess I'm not getting to the story about Jill Biden going to an Italian feast in Wisconsin. Let's hit this. Well. It looks like the former president's pants were finally caught on fire over that sketchy hush money payment to a certain adult film star. After weeks of dramatic courtroom theatrics, Donald Trump has been convicted on all 34 counts of cooking the books to cover up that lecherous pre-election tryst with Stormy Daniels. You'd think a billionaire could afford some more discreet escapades, but I guess when you're Donald Trump, subtlety was never your strong suit. Dude practically hired a skywriter to advertise his affair with the porn star. And let's not forget the cavalcade of characters that paraded through this trial. We had Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen earning his MVP of Liars badge by throwing his old boss directly under the bus. Stormy herself gave such salacious testimony. Even the judge was like, Jesus, put a filter on that woman. Then you had poor Hope Hicks, Trump's ex-spokesperson, breaking down in tears on the stand. I can only assume she was emotional about having to admit she actually chose to work for this skeezy operation. Speaking of skeezy, let's give it up for the defense team's brilliant strategy being extorted rather than covering up conduct unbecoming of a president. Genius legal minds at work, folks. And how can we forget the literal dumpster fire courtesy of that MAGA conspiracy theorist melting his hair outside the courthouse? The pungent aroma of burning toupee really set the ambiance for this whole circus. All I can is, I cannot wait for the made-for-TV movie version starring the zany talents of Tommy Wiseau as Trump and whatever C-lister they can find, still desperate enough to play Stormy. But hey, at least Donald's got one thing going for him. Being a felon doesn't disqualify him from running for president. Thanks to that handy constitutional loophole, a convicted criminal can still take Oval Office. No problem. So much for draining the swamp. More like adding extra stagnant muck. In all seriousness, though, guilty verdicts for former presidents definitely aren't something to treat lightly. This is uncharted, franchise-altering territory for America. Will Trump's voters actually care that he was quite literally found guilty of lying and covering stuff up? Or will it only amplify his martyred populist messaging as he cries foul ahead of 2024? Buckle up, folks. The takes are going to be scalding for the foreseeable future. It's almost poetic that Trump won't be facing sentencing until July 11th. Just 4 days before he's set to officially become the Republican nominee at their convention. Can you imagine the circus of him potentially getting slapped with jail time in the lead up to becoming the standard bearer? Talk about one hell of a pre-convention narrative to overcome. Though knowing Trump's flair for repeatedly dodging consequences, he'll probably just use it as more grist for his persecuted martyr mill. Campaign rally chants of "lock him up" coming to an arena near you. But let's be real here. We all know damn well he's likely avoiding any actual prison time on these charges. Dude may be a first-time felon now, but breaking laws to cover up tawdry affairs doesn't exactly scream hardened criminal status. He'll get a slap on the wrist at most, like some probation or home confinement that he can easily spin into a very unfair witch hunt tale of woe. And that's if this conviction even sticks after the inevitable blitz of appeals Trump's team has teed up. We could be years away from any real legal closure here, knowing how stubbornly litigious this guy is. Imagine Trump still haggling over the Stormy hush money case while sitting in the Oval Office again? Not even writers from Veep could dream up that level of farce. Honestly, at this point you've got to wonder if these convictions will just become another empty notch in Trump's bedpost of controversies, ultimately forgotten by his base. Sure, being an officially convicted felon ain't exactly a great look on its surface. But does it really disqualify the guy in the eyes of his MAGA faithful? I have my doubts, especially when Trump can just hand-wave it all away by claiming the real verdict will be on Election Day. His supporters seem to only hear what they want anyway. Everything else is dismissed as fake news, witch hunts, or sour grapes from the libs. So strap in, folks. We've got a potentially reconvicted felon representing the Republican Party in the run-up to 2024's main event. It would be historically unprecedented if we didn't already know how much Trump revels in shattering all traditional norms and decorum. All that's left now is to sit back and watch the fallout, both legal and political. Will voters ultimately care about Trump's newly minted criminal status? Or will it just be another bizarre footnote in this endless, nauseating reality show of an election cycle? Grab your popcorn and get those zinger ready, because the jokes practically write themselves at this point. It may be cringe comedy, but hey, at least we're getting our money's worth in sheer civic absurdity. Portions of today's pod were created with the help of AI. I guess I'm working all weekend again.